Welcome to Distance Learning, brought to you by the Palm Beach County School District Office of African, African American, Latino, Holocaust, and Gender Studies. Today's lesson is about the great kings and queens of Africa. For this lesson, you will need to access the African Studies lesson plans located on the School District of Palm Beach County Google Curriculum site. Within the lesson plans, you will find the articles that correspond to this lesson. You will also need a writing utensil and paper. During this lesson, you will identify the great kings and queens of Africa and describe their contributions to history. Activate your thinking. Read the statements below. Write if you agree or disagree with the following statements. The original name for Egypt is Kemet. Do you agree or disagree? Jeff Bezos, CEO of Amazon, is the wealthiest person to ever live. Do you agree or disagree? No one in history has ever launched a successful campaign against the Roman Empire. Do you agree or disagree? We begin this lesson with the first king of Egypt. NARMER unified Kemet, or what we call today Egypt, during the first dynastic period. Before NARMER, Egypt was separated into two regions, Upper Egypt and Lower Egypt. Lower Egypt was located to the north and consisted of the lands of the Nile Delta. Upper Egypt was located to the south. Upper Egypt and Lower Egypt existed and operated as two separate kingdoms until it was peacefully unified under NARMER. Next, we're going to talk about Queen AMANIRENAS. Queen AMANIRENAS was queen of the Kingdom of Kush when the imperial capital was located at Meroe. She was popularly known as Kandake AMANIRENAS. Kandake, meaning great women, was the title given to the ruling queen among the Kushites. She is described as the one-eyed queen, who dressed in a very masculine manner. In 30 BC, after the Roman conquest in Egypt, the Romans attempted to impose taxes upon Lower Nubia. In response, the Kushites launched an attack on the Roman-held cities in southern Egypt. During the conflict, the Kushite army confiscated a bronze head of the Roman Emperor Augustus. To further insult the Roman Empire, Queen AMANIRENAS had the head buried under the entrance of the palace so those who entered would step on it. Despite losing her husband and son in battle, Queen AMANIRENAS was able to successfully resist complete conquest by Rome. When we think about the wealthiest people in the world, we tend to think about Bill Gates, the former CEO of Microsoft, who has a net worth of about $96 billion, or Jeff Bezos, the CEO of Amazon, who has a net worth of about $113 billion. Both of these men are extremely wealthy, but neither of them are the wealthiest to ever live. The wealthiest person to ever live was a Black African king named Musa Kita I, or Mansa Musa. Mansa is the title that means emperor. Mansa Musa was the emperor of the Mali Empire during the 14th century CE. The Kingdom of Mali was prosperous in natural resources, most notably gold and salt. Mansa Musa is known as the wealthiest person in history with an estimated net worth of over $400 billion. In 1324, he became famous during his Hajj to Mecca, where he was accompanied by tens of thousands of soldiers. They were joined by numerous camels and horses, each carrying gold. Mansa Musa gave away so much gold during his stay in Egypt that he inadvertently damaged the economy for the next decade. Let's check your answers from the anticipation guide at the beginning of the lesson. Today, you should have learned that Kemet is the original name for Egypt. The wealthiest person to ever live was the emperor of the Mali Empire, Mansa Musa, and an African queen resisted complete conquest by Rome. It is important to remember that African history did not begin with the European slave trade and colonization. There were many great nations and leaders who existed long before those conflicts. You will learn more as you work through your lesson for the week. This concludes Lesson 1, Great Kings and Queens of Africa. As you reflect on today's lesson, think of 3 things you've learned, 2 things you would like to learn more about, and 1 question you still have. Thank you for listening.